Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and read to us the Ranger Training, a tour of Yellowstone National Park reading. If you would like to listen as you read along with me, that would be great. Okay, it says, plants all need the same things to live as we do. So why are all the plants we see so different? Yellowstone National Park is America's oldest national park and one of the most spectacular places in America. It's also home to one of the world's biggest supervolcanoes. That means every bush, bison, and backpacking tourist is standing right on top of a giant chamber of magma. Magma is what we call underground lava, and it's very, very hot. The magma heats the water in Yellowstone National Park, making geysers. Water so hot it spurts out of the ground. Scientists don't know when this supervolcano will erupt. It could be tomorrow or in a million years. Imagine that you've just started working at Yellowstone as a new park ranger. Part of your job is to take visitors on tours around the park and answer any questions that they have. So you need to learn as much as you can about the plants and animals in the park. Start by looking at all of the plant species in the park. Where in the park are they? What conditions do they like to live in? And what do they need to live? The only problem is that Yellowstone is huge, over 6 times bigger than Los Angeles. And there are different plants in every part of the park. So we've got a lot of ground to cover to learn about all of them. Most plants take in air and sunlight through their leaves and use their roots to get water and nutrients from the soil. However, different kinds of plants can have different roots and leaves. A maple leaf doesn't look anything like a pine needle. Plants look different because they live in different environments. Each plant has special structures that help it get exactly what it needs to grow from its own environment. Let's start with the trees. You definitely can't leave them out of your tour. Most of the trees at Yellowstone are called conifer trees. These are trees that have cones. The most common type of conifer in the park is the lodgepole pine. Unlike many trees that lose their leaves in the winter, conifers keep their leaves all year round. Their leaves are shaped like needles and coated with a waxy layer that helps them to save water and to survive Yellowstone's freezing winters. Their year-round leaves also help them take in as much sunlight as they possibly can. So although they can cope with the cold, they need sunlight to live. Other plants that need a lot of sunlight is the sagebrush plant. This little shrub has leaves that point in all directions to get as much light as possible. You might find that visitors to Yellowstone are curious about how it can survive in the sagebrush steppe, which is a large, flat grassland. Its secret to survival is very long, spindly roots that can grow 4 meters down into the soil. This means that even when the soil looks very dry at the surface, the sagebrush plant can still find water deep underground. If we move away from the forest and dry lands to the wetlands of Yellowstone, we can find very different plants. One of the many types of plant that need lots of water are willow trees. Willows need to live in very moist soil to get all the water and nutrients they need. So right next to Yellowstone's rivers and streams is the perfect place to grow. This is because the water in the rivers and stream rises and falls, sometimes flooding the riverbanks. This keeps the soil very moist and deposits of nutrients from the water into the soil. This means the willows living in these wetlands can get all the water and nutrients they need from the soil of the riverbanks. Next, let's go to Yellowstone's most famous environment, the geysers. Your visitors will definitely want to know about these. It's really hard for plants to live near geysers because the underground water is so hot. The soil can reach temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius. However, amazingly, some plants can cope with this heat. Yellowstone's cudweeds and other plants that live near the geysers have special roots that allow them to get all the water and nutrients they need, even from such hot soil. As they have adapted to living in such hot temperatures, the best place for these plants to live is near a geyser. Luckily for them, most of the world's geysers are in Yellowstone. Now that you've started learning about Yellowstone's plants, you are almost ready to give your first tour of the park. You can tell visitors all about how different plants obtain what they need from their very different environments. They all need the same things in order to grow: nutrients, water, air, and sunlight. But they all have different ways of getting them. Some keep their leaves all year round to make sure they get enough sunlight. Others have roots that grow deep underground to reach water in dry conditions. Some plants even have special roots that allow them to get what they need from very hot soil. But there's still more to learn before your park ranger training is complete. Yellowstone is home to over 1,500 different types of plants. You know they all need the same things to grow, but you still need to find out where they all live and how they get what they need. And of course, we haven't even started on the animals yet. And we've still got some work to do before you're ready to take your visitors on a tour of the park.